This is Joy News Prime. I am Samuel Kojo Brace. In our headlines, this are the mother dunks 4-year-old daughter in hot water over missing sandals. We can no longer borrow to run passenger services. We owe too much. We are tired. Railway workers threaten to halt passenger services. As experts warn of possible civil unrest in the face of worsening economic conditions, government remains confident it will fix current challenges as negotiations with IMF enters a new phase in less than a month.
Government, through Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana as well, are all together putting measures in place to help curb this. And one is our engagement with the IMF. Come September, quickly we will sit. Hopefully within 4 to 6 months, we should have a program.
Also in this bulletin, former MPP General Secretary Kwabena Japan, meanwhile, wants GAP members of Ghana's economic management led by Vice President Dr. Bawumia to step aside, insisting they have failed.
That right now, if you talk to anybody in the finance sector, they don't have faith in those running the
economic management.
That's right. Instead, they should do the honorable thing and step aside for people who are competent and strong to take the hard-nosed decision.
We can no longer borrow to run passenger services. We owe too much. We are tired. That is the conclusion of the Railway Workers Union of Ghana as they threaten to halt passenger services on the Tema Accra and Takoradi Kojo Krom rail lines. If nothing is done to get the Ghana Railway Development Authority to stop abusing its powers. According to the union, the Railway Development Authority has taken advantage of the Railway Act, Act 779 and Perpetrating Act that are detrimental to the survival of the Ghana Railway Company Limited. They say the Ghana Railway Company Limited is heavily indebted to a number of institutions because it sometimes borrows from the banks and its major client, like the Ghana Manganese Company, to effect payment of salaries and purchase of fuel, amongst others. Now, for more on this, we've been joined on the phone by Godwill Ntama. He is the General Secretary of the Railway Workers Union. Thank you so much, Mr. Ntama, for joining us. What actions from Railway Development Authority is making you draw such a conclusion?
Yeah, my brother, good evening to you. You know, for some time now, the union has been battling with the ministry with regards a review of the Act 779, which transfers assets either to under the care of GRC or to GRD. We have been of the view that since Railway Ghana Company Limited did not go on divestiture years back, and it has been a going concern, we were expecting that as a company we would have gotten our assets back so that we could do whatever we need to do. Now this has not happened, and so even from the Honorable Minister Jogati time, we have put pressure to get our assets back. Currently, we do know that there are plans to revert the assets back to GRCL. But even before that, the actions of the GRD, we consider it as unfortunate, simply because there was a recent directive by the Minister for Railways that all scraps have been generated over the years be collected and public auction should be done, so that I think the proceeds will be given to the GRCL for all that. Unfortunately, the last time we heard was GRD supervising some loads in Kumasi. That was some months back. Quite recently, our workers from Kumasi also informed us that GRD was preparing to load some scraps again, and we ordered the workers to prevent it. Apart from that, about a month ago, we got some letter from DRG indicating that some bungalows our officials are staying in with their families are also to be taken from us by the end of August. So we felt that in these circumstances where GRCL sometimes borrow even to pay salaries and other operations like buying fuel, putting the what do you call it, the Accra Tema passenger train and the Takoradi Kojo Krom passenger trains. We felt disappointed that if these things can be taken care of by GRDA in the name of being asset owner, then it's also unfortunate to the GRCL, which is so distressed as far as finances are concerned. GRDA is being paid by the government of Ghana. We as a company are managing our own locomotives, own trucks, and what have you. So we thought that if this is the way things are going to go, then there's no need going to borrow money to buy fuel and put in those trains, even when we run at a loss. There's no way we can continue with those activities. And that is why we've given up to 22nd August. By that time, if things are not changed, we might stop running the passenger train.
You've been talking about the fact that the Railway Company Limited is indebted to a number of institutions. But how's that the making of the Railway Development Authority?
So what that means is that if we are facing all these challenges and the Development Authority has no challenge, I mean, it's fair that we haven't worked with machines and that sort of thing, and it has turned into scraps. It's better we sell and support our operations. That's the bottom line.
Interesting. Well, we have also been joined on the phone line by the Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Railway Development Authority, Yao Owusu, with your side of the story as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Owusu, for joining us. What do you have to say to the allegations the Railway Workers Union have leveled against you, your office?
Okay, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I mean, basically what I can say is that, I mean, these allegations or issues are very serious ones, right? And these issues cannot be resolved in the media at this point. As a matter of fact, I'm yet to meet with my board to basically dissect all the issues that or allegations that have been raised by our sister company, the Union of Sister Company, Ghana Railway Company Limited. So what I'm going to say is that at the appropriate time, in fact, we're meeting next week. At the appropriate time, we'll get back to you to give us our responses to these allegations and issues.
But why load scrap metals from Kumasi without the knowledge of the Railway Company Limited?
No, what I'm saying is that respectfully, okay, that these issues I cannot resolve it on the phone or the media at this point. I'm yet to meet with my board to dissect these one by one, these allegations and issues, and then we can get back to you with our response.
Well, Mr. Osu, the scrap metals have already been loaded. I'm sure there is a tangible reason why the scrap materials were loaded. So that's what the public wants to know. Why that decision to load the scrap materials from Kumasi?
But that is what I'm saying. I know the public wants to know. And I'm saying these are serious issues and allegations, and that cannot be resolved in the media at this point. I'm yet to meet with the board next week, and I promise you, we will get back to you with our responses. That is all I can say.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Osuda. He is the CEO of the Ghana Railway Development Authority. Earlier you heard Mr. Ntamada. He is the General Secretary for the Ghana Railway Workers Union. Now, President Akufo-Addo cut short for the construction of the 16-kilometer Kejebir-Mpoho-Edum-Banso Road. It's been 4 years since attempts were made to fix that stretch, but residents say all they have seen are culverts on the shoulders of the road. The main construction is yet to start. They are peeved and feel deceived. On today's edition of Joy News Agenda, our Western Region correspondent in Athalia Kwanza has been following up on the Kejebir-Mpoho-Edum-Banso Road and reports.
Visiting the Mpoho Strait for the first time, a white attire would definitely not be your preferred choice. The dusty and bumpy nature of the road turns every color to brown. The vegetation along that stretch has lost its greenery and the constant dust.
The construction of the road was awarded to Jesmo. He started to work on the road but later left the site. I visit the mechanic monthly for the maintenance due to the state of the road. The road is creating problems for us. At the same time, it's very dusty. Heavy-duty vehicles like unmanned vehicles that export quarry stones to a shame for either sea defense or otherwise. We are pleading with the government to take a second look at the
Somewhere in 2018, government came here to cut sword, but for some time now, we have not seen any improvement. Whether it rains or shines, we suffer. Now that the sun is shining, the dust is killing us, as if we live in a village. Likewise, when it rains, we are unable to move about. It is a problem to us. We are very regular at the mechanic every 3 days for maintenance.
3 days to be our shop. This is the only major link from the oil palm and cocoa growing district that connects the regional capital Takoradi, the Ahanta West district, as well as the Takwa Nsuayem municipality. When the president cut sword for the construction of the 16-kilometer Kejebri-Mpoho-Edumbansu road, the drivers and residents were elated. For most drivers, it was to be an end to the frequent visit to the fitting shops and mechanics.
In fact,
our roads are really bad. Truth be told, this place has been bad since our president visited to cut the sword. Just more helped us a bit by making it more trouble for us from Akwa through the middle of Edum Dominancy. All our earnings are into maintenance and the purchase of fuel. We plead with the president to hear our cry. Recently, we demonstrated and we were attacked by soldiers who beat us up mercilessly.
The contract was awarded to JPP Construction Limited with an 18-month completion of the first phase. It is, however, alleged that the work was ceded to a subcontractor who was on site for a few weeks, then vanished into a thin air, thereby halting the project and dashing the hopes for a tarred road after many years of waiting.
I've been observant enough, and I've realized that authorities seem not to care about us because the contractors who had his equipment has taken all of them away. We will toot ourselves. To date, we don't see any signs of them coming to do it anytime soon. If they are waiting till the election year before they fix it, we would like to let them know that indeed we'll apply the road. However, we will vote against them.
In fact, it's having a telling effect on all of us, not the subjects, my subjects alone, on all of us. Like the passenger drivers will tell you, we used to go to the mechanic shop almost every week, and there is no money that has been earmarked for repairs of the cars every week. No, we have to struggle to get the money to go to the mechanic. And when there is anything to be done and it rains, it's very bad. The road gets slippery. Sometimes we have to pass through the palm plantation, and the owners too would not allow us to pass through their plantation because that is not commercial road.
The contract was re-awarded to Just More Construction Limited. He moved to the project site, but also moved his equipment after a year. The paramount chief of Mpoho, Osabre Mako Ntie, is deeply worried about the situation.
We are not pleased about what is prevailing at the moment. Right now, it's dusty. We were thinking that they would look for a bowser to try to calm the dust for us from time to time, but it's not been done. Whom do we ask at the moment? Unless we consult the regional minister and find out why this thing is going on all this while. I think it's almost 1 year now that they stopped. So our prayer is to see the contractor coming back to site.
The dusty nature of the road has become a constant reminder to the president's sword cutting ceremony in 2018. For Joy News in Athalia, Kwanza, Western Region.
Now to our Drive Safe campaign, 8,809 road traffic crashes were reported from January to July 2022. These crashes involved over 15,000 vehicles of all categories, resulting in a little over 10,000 casualties. Our research desk has been breaking down the figures, and we have that for you here on the Joy News Prime. Now, if you look at it on your screen, we have about 6.84% of that of cases reported. Vehicles involved, 6.8%. From that, we have about 15.4% being persons who have been killed out of the total number of casualties reported. Now, out of that, 0.87% of persons have involved in these accidents have been injured. And we have 9.2% of pedestrians who have been knocked down by vehicles and motor. 9.20% of people who have been pedestrians who have been knocked down by either vehicles or motorbikes. So those are the statistics there. Now, if we look at the monthly trend in crashes from January to July 2022, if you look at January 2022, this is the one in yellow represent that of the 2022, and the one in blue represents that of 2021. Now, if you look at it, in 2021 by January, there were some 1,224 crashes. In 2022, it's been increased to 1,271. If you go to February, in 2021, it was 1,321. In 2022, it has jumped to 1,354. In March of 2021, we had 1,464 road crashes. In 2022, in March, it reduced to 1,307. Again, in April of 2021, we had 1,467 road crashes. In 2022, it reduced again. If you compare the month, in 2022, April, we had 1,237. In May, there seem to be some reductions if you compare month on month. In May 2021, we had 1,313. In May 2022, we recorded 1,303, a reduction of 10 there if you compare it to May of 2021. In June 2021, we recorded 1,399 road crashes. In June 2022, we have recorded 1,215. In July of 2021, we recorded 1,332 road crashes. In 2022, we've done 1,182. So these are the comparisons if you do month on month, 2021, 2022. Now let's do distribution of road traffic crashes and death by transport means, 2022. Commercial vehicles have recorded some 5,250 crashes. Out of that, we recorded 496 deaths. And for private cars, we've had 6,791 private cars being involved in road crashes. Out of that, we've recorded some 351 deaths. So if you take private cars, 6,791, we've had 351 deaths. For motorcycles, in 2022, we have had 3,198 being involved in road crashes. Out of that, we recorded 596 deaths. So even though we've had some less number of motorcycles being involved in road crashes, we've recorded more deaths from that means. Now, with those who were walking and were knocked down by other vehicles or motorcycles, we recorded 1,580. Out of that, 412 have been killed. So those are the statistics there made possible by our data, desk. Now, if we do regional distribution of crashes from January to July 2022, Greater Accra alone has recorded some 3,818 of the road crashes. Ashanti region comes next with 2,080, followed by the Eastern region with 933. Again, Central region comes next with 610. Western region comes next with 397. Volta region has recorded 211. Western North, 137, followed by the Bono East region, 119. Northern region comes next with 106 of those cases. 104, that's a half region, has recorded 104 road crashes. Bono region has recorded 85 road crashes, and then we've had the Upper East recording 78 road crashes there. Savannah region comes in next with 63 road crashes. Upper West comes in next with 59 road crashes. Northeast follows with 38, and then Otu region recording the least with some 31 cases there. So that's how the regional distribution of road crashes from January to July 2022 looks like. Now, you're still watching the Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Our government has been urged to step up its effort towards addressing current economic challenges. High cost of living has left many Ghanaians distressed as food, fuel and services remain unaffordable. Former Chief of Defense Staff, General Nunu Mensah, retired, says the current challenges may cause riot to break out in the country. He spoke to Raymond Akwa on Upfront on a Joy News channel.
Painful condition that anybody can have. You have clothes which are worn out, which are torn, but when your children are hungry, you resort to anything to survive. And we can't say that these things happening to the world and us wouldn't have effect on us. They would. These situations we are facing are going to have effect on us. The worst one, if we don't take care, is what happened to Sri Lanka. I was in Sri Lanka some 45 years ago, 47 years ago. Briefly, I was actually in India. Lovely country. But they're very much like us. Mostly educated, but they wouldn't go near, manual work. Ghanaians don't want to work. Everybody wants to drive a Land Cruiser. Nobody wants to have a farm and produce food for us to eat. So we should observe what is going on and take serious action. Otherwise, we might, have serious situations on our hand. We are now in August. We're supposed to, in the past, supposed to be the month of plenty. In front of you say zifu, fish everywhere. We know by this time, herrings fall for a peswa, a penny. And maize, new maize, and so on will be appearing. But if you look at the condition today in Ghana, in August, if you don't take care and do something about this situation, come early next year, come January, come February, come March, there will be a serious problem for us, which might lead to riots and even, total breakdown of law and order. That's what I see ahead of us.
A former Deputy Defense Minister, Major Derek Odro, retired, agrees with his concern.
There's bound to be chaos. There's bound to be problems. So it is true that he even mentioned of other problems which are not from our country here. The COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine war, which is not allowing flour to flow from Ukraine to our part of the world here, the problem in France, and so many other ones, which may have implications in our country, even though they are far away from here. And if some people are facing this problem and these are imported into your country and you don't stand firm, it can create problems for you. So I agree with him when he says that.
Now, Deputy Finance Minister Abena Osei Asare says government is committed to restoring confidence in the economy. She spoke on the business edition of PM Express with George Wiafe.
We're going through quite a number of challenges, but this is the time where we need all hands on deck to see how best we can support governments to, get out of the situation which we have found ourselves in as a result of both global and domestic challenges. So, yes, but I believe that we are here this evening to also come up with solutions and support governments to pursue the policies that it's embarking on to make sure that we get this country out of the current situation in which we find ourselves in the short and the medium term as well.
On talks with the IMF, Mrs. Osei-Asare says government hopes the second phase of talks set to commence in September will be effective and result in the support program taking off between 4 to 6 months.
Government, through Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana as well, are all together putting measures in place to help curb this. And one is our engagement with the IMF. We have had the initial engagement where it was a fact-finding mission, and we are hoping that come September, quickly we will sit. Hopefully, within 4 to 6 months, we should have a program, and that should.
Just some clarity from you that the negotiations will commence officially from September. Am I right?
So, we began with the data. They began with the facts finding where they came to collect some data. And in September, yes, we will also, go sit with them and then continue to engage. We are hoping that within 4 to 6 months, we should have a program with them. And that will bring in some foreign currency as well. Again, the Afri-Exim loan of $750 million that Parliament approved for us, we are looking at sort of concluding almost everything, and then we're hoping that that will also show up the reserves that we have.
Now, former NPP General Secretary Kwabena Ejapon, meanwhile, says the economic management team has failed and its members must step aside. The team is led by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and our Trade and Industry Minister Alan Kojo Chiramanting and Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta as members. Listen to Mr. Ejapon says the team on Kesben TV.
There's no doubt right now, if you talk to anybody in the finance sector, they don't have faith in those running the
economic management.
That's right. Into all those members of the economic, they have to hang their heads in shame. They have to do so. So, it's a fact. It affects all of us. And I'm worried even about the security implications of this. Because we've seen things happening around the world. And we know, say, we are peace-loving people, but we should not be taken for granted. Some of them should. And so you can't look at that and say it's a business as usual. No. I know that with all respect, I disagree. The finance ministry, the central bank should have a handle of it. If they don't have a handle of it, they should do the honorable thing and step aside for people who are competent and strong to take the hard-nosed decisions, because they have to be firm decisions.
So that's Kwabena Ejapon, the former General Secretary of the ruling NPP. Up next, Araba Kumsin joins me now with Joy News editorial.
Question: how much are you buying fried plantain and beans, or bread, or wache? The cost of these food items in most parts of the country has gone up astronomically, and it's almost impossible to get the size of portions for the amount of money that people used to pay for them, including me. And that is due largely to inflation. Inflation is at 31.7%. Oftentimes, when we talk about the depreciation of the cedi, particularly against the major trading currencies, we tend to focus more on the macroeconomics of it than the micro. But what we are losing sight of is that it eventually comes down to the individuals, the consumers, me and you. We have to bear the brunt of the effect of this depreciation that we were assured will be held in check.
$1, 1 cedi. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 cedis, $1. If I was them, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done. We're going to go and think about ourselves. But that is not the people we're dealing with. In Kufuor's time, one of the people who advised and helped him develop a strong cedi was my running mate, Muhammadu Bawumia. Then he was deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's one of the reasons I brought him to come and join me, that we will welcome the CD and create again a strong CD.
If you were wondering, that was in 2016. Dr. Bawumia had a thing or two to say about it too.
And engage in all the propaganda you want. But if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. As the saying goes, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate.
That wasn't all. I mean, in fact, he had more to say.
Ghana cedi is currently in free fall and depreciating virtually on a daily basis. In fact, this is what you are seeing as a Midonyami exchange rate, because it is going all the way.
Here, the city has appreciated in value. When we came in, it was running. Essentially, we have arrested it. and the IGP has the keys. He's locked it up. We've arrested it.
Now, this is why it's so disheartening for a lot of people who had so much confidence in these economic messiahs to go through what they are being confronted with today. From 3.72 cedis in 2016, you now need 9 cedis to buy $1. It's why importers are angry. In order to keep their businesses running, they will need more cedis to buy more dollars. That explains why the cost of auto parts has increased. It's the reason why imported cooking oil for fried yam and kelewele is pricier now. Because of the depreciation of the cedi, flour is now more expensive. Your bread costs higher because of this. Crude oil price has been falling in recent weeks. That accounts for the marginal downward reduction in fuel prices. Many of our neighboring countries are experiencing a significant drop. Ivory Coast sells petrol at $1.114. Burkina Faso sells petrol at $1.113. Togo sells petrol at $1.089. But Ghana is selling petrol at $1.354. One of the reasons why we're not seeing a significant drop is because our cedi is depreciating. The precarious situation of the cedi is not getting any better. Our currency is still ranked as the worst among African countries, with the worst spot returns, and could be heading for a record in the last 25 years, with it now being 9 cedis to $1. Which is why people keep coming back to you, Dr. Bawumia. You said businesses were hurting because of the depreciating cedi in 2015. Now it appears businesses are hurting even more than ever. Now the Ghana Union of Traders Association says their businesses are hurting. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce also says the depreciating cedi is impacting businesses negatively. As if it couldn't get worse, Fitch has downgraded us from B- to CCC+. Standard & Poor's has also downgraded us with a negative economic outlook. Things are not looking up. Our economy is in a gloomy, depressed state. So why are all the things promised us when you were campaigning for power? People are losing patience, and it's not just ordinary Ghanaians. It's your party people too.
Is over 32%. You know, so we are in dangerous territory. And so therefore, the only major thing that the president can do to arrest the situation is to clear out the managers of the economy. And it's a fact. I mean, that is what is left for him to do. Because you can't let the same people who have driven us to this stage remain in office. Nobody is looking for Kenufurate's job.
So if people sympathetic to your party are speaking out like this, then you should know that the situation is indeed dire. Perhaps reaching out for varied input to get us all out of this hole that we continue to dig ourselves into deeper may be our starting point.
Welcome back from the break. Now imagine you banning your 4-year-old for misplacing an item. Can you bring yourself to doing this? Well, that's the case of a 4-year-old girl in Samraboy who has had the lower part of her body burnt by her own mother for allegedly misplacing her 8-cedi sandal. According to reports, the mother boiled water and placed the baby in it. The incident is said to have happened on Monday, August 1 at Oforikrom, a town near Samraboy in the Wasamemfi West municipality of the Western region. Joining us on phone with details of the story is the Assembly member for the area, Azure Suleiman. Azure, thank you so much for joining us. What have you gathered so far?
Good evening, my good brother. I hardly hear you. Can you go over the question you asked?
I'm asking, what do you know of the story? What are the details?
Okay. Yeah, this event occurred in a certain village called Oforikrom, which is within Wasam in West Municipal Assembly in the Western region. Yes, a mother of 4, according to community members, accused the second born of having misplaced a sandal that he bought for her. I think in the course, the woman decided to punish the girl, and all the punishment was to boil hot water, keep this little girl on the hot water. In the process, I think the small girl fell off the container, the water poured on her legs, the buttocks, and every part that was closer got bent. So this is what happened. In fact, the incident was reported to Samraboy police station, which is the nearest police station. The police took statement from the lady, but considering the degree of damage that had caused the little girl, the police recommended that the girl be taken to a hospital first, after which they will continue with their investigation. It was when this girl was sent to the hospital that I think they spent a night over there. The following day, the doctors decided that this matter could only better handled at Okonkwo Hospital. And so she was referred to Okonkwo Teaching Hospital. Yes, after this referral, this woman picked the little girl, ran back to the village, went into hiding with the little girl. So it was an informant who made us aware that the woman and child are still at the village. And that led to this expose. So that is what I know about it.
Well, per our sources, the woman says the little girl suffered some injuries and then she wanted to heal that. I mean, the lower part had some infection. So she boiled water to heal it. And that's where, unfortunately, this young lady fell into it. Why shouldn't we believe the mother of a baby, but rather believe what you're telling us?
This cannot be absolutely correct because, first of all, the degree of hotness of the water, which has led to the bend of even the legs, was something that nobody could sit on it for any treatment. Even if it was a sore, the local treatment we give to people who have sore. I don't think the water will boil to that degree that would lead to even burning. You understand me? And again, the incident occurred in the presence of other people. So they are testifying that what the woman is saying is not absolutely correct. According to the lady, even when I interviewed her, that's what she said. She said the girl has been getting this sore, under sore, and when it happens, that is that treatment. And water that has boiled to that degree, I asked whether she touched the water. She said no. So water that you could not use your hand to touch, could that water be used to treat a 3.5-year-old girl?
Is this baby her own daughter?
Her biological daughter, the second born, that is her second born. But you know, the information I gathered was that the eldermost one also equally suffered some punishment like that. Very barbaric. I think the boy, I don't know what happened actually, but I think there was a time this woman wanted to punish the firstborn. She picked up an empty can, you know, this tomato can, the big one. She used it to hit the head of this young boy until the whole can got spoiled. So a person who has been doing this cannot...
So what's the police doing about this case as we speak?
Yes, at the moment, because of the nature of the situation, you know, this little girl is not of her own. And the sore and, you know, the weight is undergoing pain. It is difficult to take this little girl out of the mother.
Okay.
So what we have all decided is that we will all collectively treat this little girl, after which the law will take its course.
Okay.
So the police have done their part. They have taken statements about, you know, we can't take the little girl
Thank you, Azure.
the mother.
Thank you, Azure. I'm grateful that you found time to join us. Up next on the Joy News Prime is Showbiz with Becky.